Obviously, as a project manager, you see struggles in one light, and the team that's actually executing on the project is going to have their own struggles. So making sure you're gathering, their input, their feedback is huge.
What is the benefit of process documentation?
There are a lot of different benefits, I would say, but the biggest one that we see documentation benefiting us for is the structure and the workload management. It allows our team to learn the process, and so when we do have recurring processes that come through for our web process, we have the standard documentation and the standard process outlined. It also allows for the team to have full visibility into what they're starting from beginning to end, so they can look at the overall process and say, okay, this is where I'm going to start, and this is the end goal, this is the end deliverable. So it really allows a full view into what they're getting started on.
You touched a little bit on how it benefits small team size. What does that look like for organizations on a larger level?
I would say on a larger level, if you're looking at managing multiple teams within one organization, the cross-team functionality and visibility is huge, especially, I know we are on a smaller scale for some aspects, but it allows other teams to be able to view the process that, let's say, our web team follows, and vice versa. So our web team can go ahead and look at the digital team and see their process that they follow. And then also, as organizations grow larger, there's different project managers involved. And so as long as we kind of all follow the same process, it's more streamlined and more predictable, essentially.
What is the biggest challenge when developing marketing process documentation?
I would say one of the largest struggles that we see, and kind of where to begin. How do we develop a new process if we haven't fully flushed out what we want it to look like? So just getting pen to paper is the biggest thing. And then also, how do we assess how beneficial the process is? How do we assess where we need to improve, where we need to change, and how do we adapt as different projects and different processes need additional steps or tasks to be followed?
Will you share some of your tips as a lead project manager when adapting to changes in a previously established marketing process?
Yeah, so actually we just are kind of in the middle of some process changes, which is super exciting, but it also leads to a lot of struggles that you see. I would say the biggest thing that I've learned as we're changing process is to gather as much input as you can from every team member. Sit down with them, have that conversation. Where do they see struggles? Obviously, as a project manager, you see struggles in one light, and the team that's actually executing on the project is going to have their own struggles. So making sure you're gathering, their input, their feedback is huge, and then also you can flush out the process and make changes where you see necessary, but then also evaluate it, share it, gather feedback on the new process before actually implementing is huge too.
How does marketing technology fit into process documentation?
So marketing technology, obviously there's a lot of different technologies out there, but we use a software that allows us to put processes into templates. It allows us to not only follow our process, but it allows us to pull reports, report on efficiency, report on profitability. And so I think those technologies really benefit kind of not only the project manager, but leadership, the team themselves. They're able to see and look at the technology that we've implemented and say, okay, this is where I'm spending most of my time. Is this where I should be spending my time? But then we also have incorporated a marketing technology platform that allows us to truly like display our process in a flowchart, that can also be extremely helpful to team members that learn better visually, because they can say, okay, from this step, I'm gonna move on to this next bubble or this next square in that flowchart, essentially. So I think there's a lot of different technologies out there, but they all have their benefits.
Awesome. Any final thoughts?
I would say process documentation is huge. It helps structure our organization in our day-to-day activities and is something that we rely on heavily for our day-to-day. So I love it. It can be a challenge to get it organized, but once it's implemented, it's huge.
Awesome. Thanks, Lexi.
Yeah, thank you.